Hey, what's up? Joe McCall here. On this video, I'm going to show you how to flip a vacant lot in 30 minutes or less. And I'm looking at my timer here. I've got to actually leave in 30 minutes to go to an appointment that I have. So I'm going to walk through how to do it from A to Z. I love this vacant land business. I've made a lot of money. My clients and friends are making a lot of money. My sons, teenage sons, are making a lot of money doing vacant land deals. So let's just jump right in. I don't want to waste any more time. I've got this mind map here. I'm going to give you a lot of cool things, by the way, for free. And if you want to get it all, just go to simplelandkit.com. The things that I'm going to be sharing with you in the mind map, you can get it right now for free. No strings attached at simplelandkit.com. So let's jump into this. There's three main steps to flipping a vacant land deal. You find it, then you make an offer, and then you flip it. All right. So the first step is you've got to pick a market. I want you to fish where the fish are biting, where the fish are. And how do you do that? Well, you want to make sure you're in an area where there's a lot of recent activity. You want to find the best zip codes and you want to find out who the buyers are, right? So let's just real quick, let's go to actually Zillow and let's just type in Florida because there's a lot of activity going on there. I'm just going to fly through this super fast. Let me reset all my filters. And let's look at land only. All right. And then let's look at land that has, here we go, sold in the last 30 days. And what are we looking for? Look at this. Almost 3,000 vacant lots in the last 30 days have sold in Florida. Well, we're looking for pockets where there's a lot of activity. And so you can see there's a lot of activity down here, a lot of clusters up here. Where else are you seeing activity? In this area. What if we did, like, I only like dealing with cheaper properties, okay? Under 100 grand. Where are the pockets? You know, look, there's a lot of pockets going on right here. Oh, Joe, there's a lot of competition. You know what? It's all right. I don't care. Let's look at one of these. This is Lehigh Acres 33972. Well, I don't know what county that is. Let's just check this out. Let's look at, I'm going to paste that in and I'm going to type in the word county. And it's Lee County, Florida. Lee County, Florida. All right, let's just look at that real quick. Let's go to Lee County, Florida. There are 470 vacant lots have sold in the last 30 days there. That's a lot, right? Well, there's a lot of activity here and there, but not much activity here. So instead of pulling a list of everybody in that entire county, what if we just focused on the top zip codes? Where there's a couple tools that I like to use to do that. Let's go to Redfin. Let's go to Lee County, Florida. And Lee County, there it is right there. And I like Redfin for one simple reason. It lets you download stuff. So I'm going to go on solds the last month. Let's do home type land only. And I just want, you know, the cheapest properties. So let's do anything under 100 grand. Boom, 556 properties have sold. Let's do under, because I don't want to download all of them. Redfin only lets you download 350 at a time. So there's 470 here. So I could maybe create another filter for lot size minimum 9,500 square feet, maximum 1 acre. Does that bring it down a little bit? Well, now I got 450. So anyways, what if we just scrolled all the way down here? I'm going to download. Oh, let's do this. Let's sort by most recent sold. All right. So now if I scroll down all the way, there's a download all button right here. If I download that, let me try it again. Did it work? There it goes. And I'm going to open it up in Google Sheets here. And I'm going to do something pretty cool to it. So we're not just spraying and praying, targeting the whole county. We want to see in this county where specifically are the land buyers buying. What zip codes are they buying in? All right, so I'm going to open it up in Google Sheets here. This will take me just a second. I'm going to delete this one row up here. Let me zoom in a lot. All right, here's the zip code column right here. I'm going to highlight it yellow so you can see what I'm doing. Right here, go to Data, Column Stats. And boom, what do you see right here? the most active zip codes: 33974, 33972, 33976. So instead of, again, doing the whole county, let's just target on the top zip codes where there's the most activity. All right, now I use FreedomSoft. This is my main favorite tool. This is one of my accounts. I'm going to log in here. Let me just pause this real quick. Okay, so I'm in my demo account here. If I go to Tools, Zip Finder, I do land. If I go to Florida and I go county, we're looking at Lee County, right? Lee. Let's do last 180 days search. So what it's doing now is it's looking at all the recent land activity and giving me the best zip codes. And you can do this for houses or for land. And here you go. You can see some of these same zip codes here. They're going to be a little variance, but instead of targeting all of these zip codes here, right? What if we just targeted the top 3, 4, 5? I want anything above. So I'm going to be targeting the top 6 zip codes in that. And now from here, I can actually just click Find Buyers. And it brings me here on another sheet in a second here, on another tab, who the most active buyers are in that area who have bought in the last 4 or 5 or 6 months. All right, so I'm going to remove duplicate owners. I want vacant land. I don't care if they live in the zip code or out of the zip code. And I just want like 0.2 to 1 acres. Because knowing this area, I want to make sure I'm only dealing with buyers who are buying the things that everybody else is buying. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit to find out who those active buyers are. But you can also use tools like PropWire. Shout out to Jerry Norton, built an amazing tool here. And you could do Lee, let's see if it brings up Lee County, Florida. And then you could do property types, land, cool. And you can go to more, and you could do owner filters or financial filters. Here we go, select date. Bought within the last 3 months, 1, 2, 3. So bought since December, boom, boom, boom. And yeah, you can click save and close. And then there's 1,200 results here. You can download all of them. I'm not sure how this works. I normally just do it all in FreedomSoft. But you can download all of them and you can put them into a Google Sheet, just like what we're doing here, to find the most active zip codes. You know, the other cool thing you can do with this, once it's in a spreadsheet, is you can go to highlight the price column and go to data, right? Column stats. And here you can see the average and the median price. So the median price that these properties are selling for is $26,000. Cool. Well, what if there's a way you could find out who the active buyers are, who actually is buying properties, so you can see what they're buying, where they're buying it, and what they're paying for it, right? Well, so there's 1,300 buyers, active buyers in those 6 zip codes right here in FreedomSoft. I'm going to select all these pages and I'm going to add it into a lead list. And I'm just going to give it a number here. Those are like reference numbers. We're going to call this Lee County, Florida, active buyers, top zips. All right. And I choose my workflow automation and I click create list. Now in a minute, this takes a minute. It's putting them all into a list. And then from here, I'm going to find out who the most active buyers are. And this is really cool. I can't wait to show that to you. But back to the mind map now. We found the best zip code. We see just visually, we see the best, most active states, then drill down to what are the most active counties. And then in those counties, what are the most active zip codes. And we're going to see in a minute who the best buyers are. And you could do the same thing in PropStream. If you have a PropStream account, go to PropStreamJoe.com. Close your eyes. I'm putting my password in here to log into PropStream. And it's real similar. If you have a PropStream account, you can go right up here to the top, Lee County, Florida. Go to filter. We're going to do vacant land, and we're going to scroll down, and we're going to click on owner information. And we don't care what kind of owner it is. Last sale date. We're going to go back 3 months. 1, 2, 3, November or October 1. That's pretty much it, right? And we could do acre sizes if we want. But we view, so there's 3,200 records, and that's in the whole county. And so we could download them into a spreadsheet, put them into Google Sheets, do the same thing to find the best zip codes, and you can do similar things to find the best buyers and all of that. So this is coming in. We'll take another minute, but PropStream is good. PropStream is going to you pay $97 a month for it. PropWire is free. They get paid though when you do skip tracing. I have found, generally speaking, for vacant land, the data is best in FreedomSoft, and then PropStream, and then PropWire. PropWire is really good for houses. Sometimes in some areas of the country, it's hard to get good data for land with PropWire. That's just my 2 cents with that. All right. So when these buyers come in here in a minute, I'll show you that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull a list of sellers, and we want people who own land in those top zip codes that have owned it for over 10 years and live outside of that zip code. So what I like to do is here, we've got these top zip codes. We've selected the top right, and I'm going to click, instead of find buyers, I'm going to click find sellers. And I'm looking for all land here. And by the way, this is all included in if you have FreedomSoft. If you have a custom signature edition of FreedomSoft with my customizations in it, with all my contracts and scripts and marketing pieces and workflow automations and all of that fancy stuff, websites, right? So we're going to remove duplicate owners. We want vacant land only. We want people that don't live in that zip code. We don't want to send mail to somebody who owns some vacant land that they live right next to. I'm going to financial filters. I'm going to say they've owned it for over 10 years. Okay. They've owned it. They bought it before 2015. I include unknown sale dates. And I don't want the little dinky properties, and I don't want the really big ones either. So let's do anything between 0.2 acres and 2 acres. Click search. And this is going to take a minute here as it comes up. Let's look to see, those buyers, not in here yet. They are coming. So this is going to give me now all of the vacant landowners in the top zip codes who have owned land in that area for over 10 years. Do you think they might be motivated, maybe interested to sell? Yeah, and I will tell you this too. There's a lot of activity here. So these are going to be sellers who are getting a lot of calls and marketing from other investors. So maybe in other parts of the country where you're targeting more recreational land, you're going to be getting maybe $10,000, $20,000 average assignment fees or profits on a wholesale deal. In Florida, because it's so competitive, but you can sell them so quick and there's so many buyers, I would be shooting for a minimum of $5,000. So if you can do a quick assignment and just make $5,000, that's better than a poke in the eye with a stick, right? And if you can just sell those things fast. And the cool thing about Florida, I just interviewed a client that I've been working with for just 4 months. He's already done 8 deals. He's got 2 or 3 more under contract. And it's been really cool working with him. And he's going to be coming out on my podcast soon on the YouTube. So pay attention. His name is Zach. You're going to love this interview with him. But he just does little assignments, and he doesn't have to list them on the MLS. He gets them under contract. He just puts them on Facebook. He puts them on Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups. And I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. But here's the thing. He's in Florida in a very competitive market, and he's not concerned about taking them down. He's not concerned about finding a realtor to list them. He's just getting them under contract, putting them out there in Facebook groups, and selling them like that. And he's okay with a $3,000, $5,000 assignment fee. Does that make sense? All right, so we got to hurry up here. Let me get back to my screen and see how this is coming along. All right, I'm going to pause this real quick. All right, so while FreedomSoft is pulling that list in there for me, I want to show you another little trick here that's free. If you have a list source account, it doesn't cost anything to get a list source account. You can go into geography and you can select county, and you select the state that you're in, and you go down and you select the county here that you want to look at, Lee County. I'm going to go to property. I'm going to go to property type. I'm going through this fast because I got to chop here. I'm going to select vacant land, and then I'm going to go to property, last market sale date, and you're going to choose 3 months. Now, as I'm recording this, this is not working, and I've sent a support ticket to CoreLogic or ListSource. Their tech guys are aware of this. They're actually working on it. But right now, if you go 3 months, it's not allowing you to pick a date after January 1, 2025. But so they are working on that. It'll be fixed probably by the time you're watching this video. But for now, I'm just going to pick, maybe October 1 through the end of December. And then for some reason that comes over. All right. And then I'm going to go to options, and I'm going to say no preference for corporate owned. There's 4,200 records of vacant land purchases in the last 3 months or so. And then I'm going to pretend like I'm purchasing the list. Cool. And I click that. And then I click Purchase Partial List here. I go to Custom Selection, and I can group everything by zip code. Now, you can't see all of the drop downs that I'm doing there, but you can group them by zip code. Now, what you can do is you can actually export this into a spreadsheet. Or what I typically do is I'll just copy this stuff all the way down here, copy it, and I'm going to just open up a new sheet. Maybe let's do a new tab here. All right, and just paste that right there. And then you can, maybe what we'll do is I'm going to do add a column header. Okay. So we have zip code and count. And then I'm going to just sort all of this from Z to A, high to low. So boom, look at that. You get the most popular zip codes. I know it's kind of small right there, but you see I've got the most popular zip codes just by doing that free little search thing in list source, copying all those numbers, pasting them into a spreadsheet. Okay. All right. So my list is ready now here. So this is my list of buyers, the active buyers in the top zip codes. There's a ton of them. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to click View All, and I'm going to then go here to this filter, Advanced Filters. And you can't see this drop down, but I'm going to go all the way down, and I want to see all of the people that own greater than or equal to 10 properties. And when I click this, this filter's working now, and I scroll down, I got 877 different buyers that have bought land in the last 3-4 months that own more than 10. Are you crazy? Let's do that own more than 25. How many do we have? 444. All right. Now from here in FreedomSoft, I could skip trace them. I could send them letters and marketing. One of my favorite things to send, let me show it to you real quick here, is a postcard that I have that works really, really well. It pretends that I'm a desperate, motivated buyer. Now here it is right here. Urgent help, dear buyer name. And this is when I get a deal under contract, I send this out to all of the recent buyers in that area right from FreedomSoft. It takes like 4 clicks. I see you recently bought some vacant land in this county near the one I own. I need to sell my vacant lot ASAP. I've had it on the market for some time now, and I can't wait any longer. I'm desperate. The taxes are paid. The title is clear. I need this thing sold today. Please call me or text me. Thank you. I desperately need to sell my vacant lot near the one you recently bought in the county, and it inserts it there. This postcard works. You may think it's weird or crazy, but yeah. So from FreedomSoft right here, I just go to all of these buyers who are buying land, and I say, hey, are you interested in buying some more? Right? Let me do one more filter here. You can say purchase properties greater than or equal to. They've purchased more than 5 properties on or after. Let's go back 6 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they've purchased more than 5 properties in the last 6 months. And there's 474 of them. Do you think this might be a good area? Do you think there's a lot of fish looking for land here? Yes. Oh my gosh. And there's also a lot of realtors. So this is a great area. Now, also, if I go back here, I have 29,000 records here of sellers, people that own land, and I removed duplicate owners. There's 29,000 different owners who own vacant land, who have owned it for over 10 years in these hot zip codes. Are you kidding me? So you could download all of them. You could do a quick campaign. I'm just going to download 1 page of them right here, 250. And I'm going to create a list. I'm going to call this Lee 1000. So every property record in this, let's call it Lee County, Florida Demo Campaign. Oops. Campaign. And I'm going to choose my automation or my automated workflow that you get in the custom Joe McCall signature edition of FreedomSoft. And while these are going in there, we're going to jump back to our mind map. So we've picked a good market where there's a lot of activity. We pulled a list of sellers. Now we need to set up a voicemail. Now I like to do direct mail. It's super simple. I want to automate as much of this business as I can. I don't want to talk to people. So I'm going to send them a postcard. And my postcard says, hey, if you want to sell your property, please text or call our 24-hour recorded voicemail, and we will send you an offer. It's as simple as that. Okay. Now, if you want this script for the voicemail, again, go to simplelandkit.com and you can get it for free. There's my script right there. Tell them who you are, tell them what you want, and then ask them on the voicemail, hey, what's your reference ID? So thanks for calling. If you want to sell your vacant lot, leave your name and number and the reference ID on that postcard we sent you, and we will send you an offer, okay? Then we want to send them a postcard, and we make sure that each postcard has the reference ID. Now, some of my postcards that I send look like this, and you can get all these postcards again at simplelandkit.com for free. Third notice, I have different ones that says property notification, urgent notice, things like that. Hey, I desperately need to talk to you about your property. Call this number. Nobody will answer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This postcard works like gangbusters. And I know you're thinking that's weird, Joe, but fine. If you don't want to send that postcard, send a postcard like this. I've done lots of deals with this kind of a postcard. With FreedomSoft, it costs about 70 cents, first class. And I also send letters. This letter, where'd it go here? Here it is, land neutral letter. I just talked to a client the other day who just quit his job 2 weeks ago. He's doing land full time now. He's super excited. He's been using this letter for a couple years, and he's done tons and tons of deals from it. Right now, he's averaging about $30,000 a month in wholesaling profits and about $4 or $5 grand a month on owner financing that he's collecting from selling his properties. But he just uses this letter, and it works. It works. You can do these letters, and I'll show you in a minute a campaign you can set up real quickly inside of FreedomSoft that does it all for you. So I like postcards. They're cheap and they work. All right. Let me just check here real quick. All right. So we're back here in my demo account. To get a phone number, you just go to settings, you go to phone, and you got a phone number right there. If I were to get a new one, I would just do maybe 352 area code. I would choose, you can get as many virtual phone numbers as you want. This is a phone number that goes on your postcard. And then I'm going to just mess with this a little bit. This Florida sellers, I'm going to click on here, and this is where you get a phone number, and this is the number that's going to go on your postcards, and then you just record a voicemail right here. I'm going to do it real quick. Hey, this is Joe. Thank you for calling. If you've got some vacant land you want to sell, please leave your name and phone number at the sound of the tone, along with the reference ID, and we will send you an offer right away. Thanks a lot. Super simple, 5, 10, 15 seconds, okay? And then this is also really cool because sometimes they call and just hang up. I send them a text. The system sends them a text automatically right away. Thanks for calling. What's that reference ID on that postcard we sent you? And you put your name there. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my lists. I just downloaded this list right here of sellers. There's 250 of them. I'm going to view all. I'm going to highlight all of them. And I want to send them a postcard, okay? 250. I'm going to go here to more actions, and I'm going to click send direct mail. I'm going to choose the sequence that I want to send, and let's do this one right here. Now I need to add some direct mail credits, but this is what it's going to look like. All right, and there is the postcard. It's addressed to the seller's name, and it's got the phone number, call 24-hour recorded voicemail, and then it asks them for the reference ID. So when they put this reference ID on there, I get the notification that they sent an email. I can see their text, their emails in here. In fact, let me pause this and I'll show you what this kind of looks like with some real leads. So I just called the number from my Google Voice, and if I go here to communications, you can see the voicemail. Now in a minute, the voicemail will be played. You'll be able to listen to the voicemail right here, but I could send a text back right away. Thanks for calling. What is your email? Okay, so here you can see the, I called from my Google Voice number, and there is the voicemail that just came in. Now, this is my demo account. I don't have texting activated in this, but I could just send a text message back right here. What is your email address, etc. And the system will also send a text automatically the first time somebody calls saying, hey, thanks for calling. Sorry, I missed it. What was the reference ID? So when they call the first time and it's a missed call or it goes to voicemail, the system will send them a text back right away. All right, cool. So we've found let me just review real quick. We found the market. We pulled a list of sellers. We set up a voicemail and we send a simple postcard or a simple letter, right? Now we need to make the offer. And to do that, you basically call back everyone who called you. Now you don't have to call them back. When I first started, I don't know, our first 30 or 40 deals, we didn't call anybody back before we sent them an offer. We got the voicemail, we looked up their information, and we sent them an offer and only talked to the ones after they got our offer. But ideally, I would suggest you call them back and ask them some simple questions. There's 3 questions that I want you to ask, okay? Number 1, what's your situation? Number 2, what would you like to see happen? And number 3, when would you like to see that happen? That is an amazing, very simple script that anybody can remember. Think Pawn Stars. If you've seen this show, Pawn Stars, you're like a pawn shop, right? What happens when they bring in an item? They say, hey, great, tell me about this. What's your story? Where'd you get it? Where's it from? That's the what's your situation, right? And then they say what? What would you like to see happen? How much do you want to sell it for? You always make the seller come up with the price first, and then you say, all right, well, how quickly do you want to sell it? Is this a now thing or a later thing for you? So here in the mind map, if you go to simplelandkit.com, you get this script. I have a script of, it's not a word for word script, but it's just a list of questions that you can ask the sellers. And the best part of this is the part right here, questions to determine motivation. And I want you to also think about this too. You're the reluctant buyer. Remember this, we are deal finders, not deal creators. And so we're never chasing the sellers, right? We make them come to us. And so we act like a reluctant buyer, disinterested buyer. You know, sometimes I start the conversation with, hey, I got your voicemail. Thanks for calling. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about your property to see if it would be something I'd be interested in, right? So cool. Tell me about your situation. What's going on? Do you want to sell this thing? Is this a now thing or a later thing for you? So right back down here, you'll see some questions like, sounds like a nice property. Why would you even want to sell it? What would you like to see happen? When would you like to see that? You're not in a hurry to sell this property, right? When were you hoping to be able to sell this? Is this a now thing or later thing? And this is a great question I love to ask. What's more important to you? Are you trying to sell it quickly or to sell it for the highest price possible? And I always act like, you know what, I'm probably not your buyer. Why don't you just list it with a realtor? They can get you the highest price. I always ask too, have you gotten other offers on it before? Have you tried listing it before? What do you think the property's worth? If they won't give me a number, a lot of times I just say, well, you know what, I'm probably not your guy. You should list it with an agent. They can give you an estimate for what they think the property is worth. Do you want me to give you some names and numbers of realtors who have sold property here in the last year or so? You see, I'm never chasing them, right? I'm just asking questions. And these conversations should be 3 to 5 minutes long. Very, very short questions with the sellers, okay? And then I recommend you have a lead sheet. Now, this is something, again, you get at simplelandkit.com. It's a blank lead sheet. What I did when I was first getting started doing houses, I would just print 20 of these, and I'd have 4 folders. I'd have one folder for hot leads, cold leads, warm leads, and blank lead sheets. And so you don't have to use anything fancy like software and Freedom Soft or whatever I'd recommend you do, but have a blank lead sheet. And then every time the seller calls, you just write down their name and address of the property. You ask them some questions. You fill out this piece of paper. And then, you know, if it's a hot lead, you got to do something with it right away. Put it in your hot. If it's warm, you got to do something in a week. Put it in the week or in the warm folder, right? And then if it's cold, you got to do something in 30 days. Put it in the cold folder, and then just carry those around. And every time you need a lead, you know, once a week, go through the warm ones. Once a month, go through the colds. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important you keep track of your leads. And if you're not going to use a CRM, which you should, then use these blank lead sheets. It's very important. Okay. So we're going to call everyone back. We're going to talk to them. And this is really important here. We're going to send every seller we talk to an offer. Every seller. How many of them? Every single seller. Unless they tell you to, you know, F off or whatever, you're going to send every seller an offer. And I like to use Redfin or Zillow. It's very, very simple and fast. So let's just take a look real quick at one of these properties. Let's say we're going to make an offer on this property is listed. Well, it's sold, but let's say, you know, the seller, it's been 3 years. I pull the property up on Redfin. So let's just try it from here. I'm going to go to Redfin, click enter, and it's going to bring up the property. I click on this little map icon, and then I click on nearby homes for sale. And it puts me right in the center of that map is that property right there, right? So first I'm going to go to for sale, and I want to see all the for sales and pendings, and I want to see land only. Boom. I click done, and then I want to sort from low to high. And if you want to, you can set some filters for the lot acreage size, right? So I know I don't want anything less than 9,500 square. I don't want anything more than half an acre. Boom. And so now I have 6 properties inside of that little area. If I want more comps, I just zoom out. all right, look, I got a whole bunch from there and I can see the cheapest ones here. And basically what I'm looking at is I want my property to be the cheapest. So if I'm going to sell this property, I want to sell it in 1 or 2 months if I'm going to sell it for cash. So I'm looking at this thinking, all right, well, this one's pending. It's about the same size for 17 grand. I'm going to list mine for 17 grand. Just like that. That's it. That's how I come up with my numbers. And then I've got an offer spreadsheet here. You could also take the average of the 3 lowest similar active listings in the area. So you could go here to Redfin. You can take the average of the lowest 3 and then multiply that number by 85%. This is the price that you're going to sell it for. Again, when I put my property on the market, I want to make all these other landowners upset that I'm undercutting them and I'm pricing my property so much cheaper than all of them. So I want to price mine, maybe take the lowest 4, average them, multiply it by 85%. Okay. And then, because again, that's the number I'm going to list my property for, right? Then in order for I got to offer less than that, right? Simple rule of thumb, very quick and dirty. I'm going to make an offer at 40% of that. And that's my offer. Okay. I also have a spreadsheet. I'm just going to walk through this real quick. Where can you get this spreadsheet again? SimpleLandKit.com. Just go there right now. You can get it. Okay. It's free. This spreadsheet, basically what I'm doing here is on Redfin. I have all of these active listings here. There's a really cool tool that's free from Pebble called Pebble. It's a scraper. And I can just click here and it scrapes all those properties and it gives me the average price per acre. Oh, you can't see it. I'm on my screen. I'm sorry. So it's a Chrome extension called Pebble. And you can get it for free from pebble.com or pebblerei.com or whatever. It's a competitor to FreedomSoft. They're a really good CRM. I recommend it to people who don't want to use FreedomSoft. But you see the median price here per acre and the average price per acre. So I just take whatever's lower of the two. Oh, shoot, you can't see it, but there's a pop-up right here in my window. I take the 61,000 square feet price per acre, right? And then I'm going to put that right here. And my property is like 0.25 acres. And so based on $61,000, I think I'm 0.23. Hold on one second. Let me look at this. Okay, this is right. So the average or the median, whichever is lower, is $61,000 an acre, and mine's 0.25 acres. So, and I discount the actives 15%. So it's maybe worth $13,000 based on active listings. But let's look at solds. And I'm going to show you how to look on Zillow for solds, okay? Because it's just kind of the same thing. I'm going to put the address right there. Boom. All right. Or an address of a nearby property. And I'm going to click back here to search. And now I'm going to remove boundary. I'm looking at solds. Cool. I'm looking at land only. All right. And I'm going to remove my price filters here. And I'm going to go to more. And I want 7,500 square feet to half an acre. And I'm going to do sold in the last 6 months. Can you believe this? Remember we looked at, is this a popular area or not? There's a lot of activity here, right? So I don't need to go back here, but I'm going to zoom in because I got way too many comps. Now I have 33 comps. I'm going to sort from low to high. All right, you have all these solds here. And then I'm going to do that Pebble scraper again, and you can't see it, but it's a Google Chrome extension. And it just scrapes everything, and it gives me the average price per acre is about $45,750. And I'm going to paste that right here. All right, so this tells me I could sell this property. Maybe it's worth $11,000 to $13,000. Well, I'm looking at this thinking, if I go back here, I'm looking at actives for sales. I see this one has sold for $16,999. I'm going to sell mine for $17,000, and I'm still going to be cheaper than everyone else out here. So I'm going to list it for $17,000. This is where I put right here. I'm going to put $17,000. And you know what? I'm going to make, I want to do a $7,500 wholesale fee. Normally, I like to shoot for a minimum of $10,000, but in Florida, it's a really competitive market, and I know I can sell it quickly with just a few phone calls, and I don't need to use a realtor. So I might be okay with maybe $7,500 instead of $5,000, right? I've got $1,000 oops factor. I might take some pictures or hire somebody to go take pictures after closing costs. So basically what this is, it gives me an offer of $6,000. I'll zoom in here in case you can't see it, which is about 35% of what I can list it for. So I feel pretty good. If I list it for 17 grand and I pay no realtor commissions because I can just make some phone calls and sell this thing. You saw how many solds there were in this area. This is insane, right? That's just in the last 6 months. I could probably sell it pretty quickly by just calling these people that bought these lots for $21,000, $22,000 and sell it like that, right? So I don't need to pay a realtor. I'm going to make the realtor commissions 0. Sometimes I do 10% commissions usually. So subtract all these costs and you come up with an offer at 6 grand. Now that's 35% of the list price. I always have this is really important to have a rule of never offering more than 50%. If it's under 100 grand approximately, right? Always make sure your offer is never more than 50%. And if it's over 100 grand, general rule of thumb, I never offer more than 60%, okay? So yeah, I'd offer $6,000. That's it. And we're good to go, right? Again, max offer price is 50%. So if you look at, you take what can you list this property for, subtract your profit, subtract your costs of realtor commissions. Normally I pay 10%. I want to be real generous with my commissions. I'm going to subtract closing costs, hiring somebody to go take pictures, and I call it oops factor of maybe $1,000 or something like that, right? Offer max 50%. Now here is, I'm not going to go through this, but if you are a pen and paper guy, here is a pen and paper sheet that you can print out, and you write down the active comps to find the value of the property based on the price per acres. And then you look at sold comps. By the way, when you're looking at active comps, do not forget to also look at pendings. That's really important, all right? And then you get an average price per acre for actives and an average price per acre for solds. And I usually just pick the lower one, all right? And so I've got maybe $10,000 price per acre, and I got 5 acres, and my sale price or my list price will be about 50 grand or whatever. So then I take 50 grand and I subtract my profit of 10 grand. I subtract a couple, 3 grand for closing costs, subtract another 4 to 5 grand for realtor commissions, subtract $500 for photos, and maybe $1,000 for unknown. And that comes up with my offer price. But again, make sure your offer price is not more than 50%. Cool? Now, again, you could go do it the same simple way. Where was it? The simple fast strategy. Take the average of the lowest 3 similar active listings in the area, multiply that by 85%. That's the price you're going to list it for, then multiply that by 40%. All right. All right. That's going to be your offer amount. Now, we send offers. I send offers I could show you right now in FreedomSoft, but I'm already past my 30 minutes. But I'm going to keep on hurrying up here, okay? We can send offers through FreedomSoft real quickly in the mail and in an email and in by text and by digital signature like you would use with DocuSign or whatever, okay? So here's my main offer letter that you can take a look at real quick. It's just a cover letter. It says, hey, thanks, we'd like to buy your property. This is what we can pay. This is how you can return it to us. And here's our 1-page contract. It's very simple, easy. We have 90 days to close. You can see this right here, 90 days to close. You can change that. We don't have any earnest money deposits, and we can extend it 30 days if we want. It's a very good contract, all right? And we also sometimes just send a 1-page offer letter that looks kind of like this. It's just on the top half, it's, hey, great talking to you. We want to buy your property. And then down below is the purchase agreement. Very simple 1-page thing that you can use. And we also sometimes, when we're sending what's called blind offers, we send these check letters out. And it basically is a check that shows through the envelope of what we might buy their property for. That's a little more advanced, but those are some of the things that we do. Now, this is really important. Just an hour ago, one of our top clients, his name is Zach. I talked about him earlier. He posted something on our Facebook group that said, all right, 4 days, 4 contracts, all from texting old leads. So inside of FreedomSoft, he set up a simple campaign and he started texting, and you do it automatically. You don't have to do it manually. He texted all of his old leads, I don't know, a couple hundred of them, and got 4 deals under contract in 4 days. So it's really critical and important that you follow up with your leads. I'm hoping you pay attention and listen to me on this because one time my business partner and I, Gavin, looked at our previous year and we had sold 58 deals. We flipped, wholesaled 58 deals. And of those 58, 4 came from follow-up. I'm sorry, Only 4 came from that first contact. 54 came from follow-up. So if we would have not done any follow-up that year, we would have only done 4 deals. Does that make sense? And on average, it was 7 to 8 touches over 2 to 3 months. Some of the follow-up was only a couple weeks. Some of it was over a year. But on average, 2 to 3 months of follow-up, 7 to 8 touches. If you are not doing follow-up, you're wasting your money. So just like, don't even think about sending offers, doing all this marketing, sending offers if you're not going to do follow-up. And this is so important to understand. I want you to listen. Send an offer every 30 days to that seller. All right, maybe after 3 or 4 times of sending the same offer to them, just follow up. Send a text, send an email, send another postcard, send a letter. So important. And you need to have something that does it where it just does it for you in spite of you. You just set some automation, which I can do that, and I don't have the time to show you in FreedomSoft right now, but you can set up a whole year's worth of automation, of automatic follow-up by texts, emails, voicemails, postcards, and letters. It's incredible. Okay, cool. Follow up every 30 days, automated as much as possible, email, SMS, voicemail, and mail. By the way, FreedomSoft, in case you ask, because I can hear somebody asking, FreedomSoft does ringless voicemail. No, it does not. But there's other companies like Sly Broadcast and Sly Dial where we do ringless voicemails. But basically, hey, I'm following up with that offer. Have you sold that property yet? Do you have any other properties you might be looking to sell? And so I've got a bunch of templates, again, at simplelandkit.com of follow-up things that we send. Here's a sample follow-up postcard that's handwritten from FreedomSoft. Here's a simple letter just saying, hey, you know what? We sent you an offer. And I ask them to fill out this thing and send it back to us. And people actually do. I've reconsidered. I no longer want to sell. I still want to sell, but I'll take this, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, cool. Are we doing all right here? Are we good? Let me get back into this thing. Oh, here we go. Boom. Why would this work? All right, hang on a second. Okay, so we find the deals, we make offers, and on average, we do about 1 offer accepted out of every 20 to 30 offers that we send. Those are just our numbers. The next step is you flip it. Once you get an offer accepted, this is when you start the due diligence, right? Here is a due diligence checklist. Yes, would you like this? Again, simplelandkit.com. But it's basically, I'm not going to go through this, but these are basic. You want to make sure it has road access. You want to know about the slope, the floodplains. Are the taxes current? What are the comps like? Are there HOAs, liens, judgments, et cetera, et cetera? Okay. There's some good online tools that we use to do research. One of my favorites lately is something called Regrid. Land ID is okay. I used to like it a lot, but Regrid is just faster and easier. Google Maps, of course, and our VAs, if you're one of our clients, we will do comp reports and due diligence reports for you. A due diligence report is pretty amazing and sweet. It's just this, we actually call the county. We do all this research on the zoning, the assessors, the HOAs, what's allowed, what's not, utilities, and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. We also, this is really important, call local realtors who have sold land in the area. It's so simple. If you go here, like I just showed you to Zillow, and you go in, this is the last 6 months, right? Do you think you might find a realtor who has a buyer if you just call these realtors up and say, hey, I see you sold this property for 22 grand. Their name is usually right here and phone number, Jim McCabe, right there, okay? Hey, I see you sold this property for 22 grand. I'll pay you 10% commissions. If you have another buyer, you can bring me my deal. I'm wanting to sell it for 18. Boom. Boom shakalaka. That's how you do it. So you find recent solds. Like I like homes.com because homes.com will actually give you, if I can find an example here, homes.com will actually give you the realtor's name and phone number. Now this is not a good example. I don't know why I linked to that. Here, let's look at this example here. This was recently sold. And there we go right there. You can see the listing agent and the buying agent, their phone numbers and emails, okay? Homes.com is pretty powerful. I like it. And that's a screenshot. Okay. I offer my realtors, I pay them very generous commissions, 10, sometimes more percent. Sometimes I'll give them a bonus if they can sell my property quickly. I ask them, what do they think it's worth? What price do I need to sell it for to sell it in 2 to 4 weeks? And I even have a script for realtors for you. Boom, right here. Okay, so I want you to get this because it's It's amazing, and nobody else is giving you all this stuff for free, right? Also, I recommend you submit the deal to potential partners. Find somebody in the area to partner with you on the deal. Bring your deals to me if you're one of my clients in our community, other land investors in our community, and there is a bunch of funding companies that I have in my program. Yeah, you can do the deal yourself, but when you can bring it to somebody else and partner with them, it's faster to partner with somebody who's already done deals there. They already have the paperwork, they have the money, they have the local realtors, they have the title companies, the buyers. They'll do all the work. They make everything easier, so you make more money faster, and they'll let you know if it's a good deal or not. If you bring a deal to us and we're like, nah, we don't want to lend you money on this deal, we don't want to partner with you on it, it might not be a good deal, right? So you can go back to the sellers and cancel or renegotiate the contract. So who would they fund the deal? Typically, the requirements are when you bring it to a funding company, to somebody else to partner with on a deal, usually you have a minimum purchase price of like 30 grand. Your offer price has to be max 50% of value, usually max 25% wetlands. It has to have road access. We're going to want at least 2 different realtors for price opinions. It's got to be in an area with high demand, good number of recent sold comps, and it can't do probate deals. Those take a long time. It's got to have clear title, okay? Boom. All right. So another cool thing I don't have the time to talk about is, and I teach this in my program, but you need to be able to dig your well before you're thirsty. And so I talk about how to find private investors that will lend money on your deals, and that's really important to think about. Now, when you market your property for sale, one of the things that we do is it's real simple. And I showed this at the very beginning. Remember, we find recent buyers who bought land and we send them a postcard. And we skip trace them and call them. This is the postcard that we like to send. Or sometimes we do it as a yellow letter. We type this up. Urgent notice, don't throw me away. I desperately need to sell my property. I'm telling you guys, if all you did was this, you could sell all of your properties because this works really, really well. You write a yellow letter, red Sharpie, don't throw me away. Urgent notice. I desperately need to sell my 2-acre vacant lot. And da-da-da-da-da. I've had it on the market for some time now. I can't wait any longer. Take a look at the attached map. Call me. I'll tell you all about it. The title is clear. Taxes are paid. I'm desperate. I need it sold today. Call me. Please make me a cash offer right now. Take that letter, crumple it up, fold it back up, fold it into fourths, and then put it in an invitation envelope, handwritten with a stamp, and that will get the phone to ring. I'm telling you. I don't know why more people don't listen to me and why more people don't do this, but that may be the only thing you have to do. Again, I was talking about Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace. One of my clients, all he does is get these deals in Florida in very competitive markets, puts them on Facebook Marketplace, and he joins all of the local real estate Facebook groups and posts them on there. You can post something in Facebook with just like big text and color, and he just basically says, hey, I got a 0.23 acre lot in this area for 19 grand. Anybody want it? That's it. And if they comment or DM him, he sends them some pictures. Okay. Also, I sometimes list our properties with the realtor, and I use brokerless.com a lot. They're a discount broker that you can use. Sometimes if you list it with a realtor before you own it, you have to get an authorization to list agreement, or what's called a limited power of attorney sometimes, or an authorization to sign listing documents. And so there's some links to that you can get, again, at simplelandkit.com. And again, if you're working with me and you're one of our clients, submit the deals to us. We'll partner with you on it. If it looks like a good deal, this is when you buy it and you sell it. We always use title companies. Get some local recommendations from realtors in the area. We have a nationwide list of investor-friendly title companies. And so we've got, if you just go right now, go to our list of title companies in Florida. We've got a list of them that will that we can work with. And by the way, if you're one of our clients and in our community, you can get free transactional funding. We don't charge any money for transactional funding, only for people in our community. And if you do have to cancel the deal, here's a sample termination agreement that we have in the Simple Land Kit. And it basically says, hey, you know what? Sorry, we have to cancel it for these reasons, whatever. And it's not a big deal. Remember, you guys, in our contracts, you have 90 days to close, and you do not have to buy it if you can't find a buyer. Okay? Boy, we're flying through this fast. Now, how do you profit? How do you make money? Well, you rinse and repeat. And so what I recommend you do is there's 2 ways you can sell a deal, basically, and we'll wrap it up with this, okay? Number 1, you sell it for you wholesale it and you sell it for cash. And I like to call that piles of cash. or you can sell it on terms with owner financing and get streams of cash. This is a fantastic business. I love selling land on owner financing for the cash flow, because you get great cash flow without any of the tenant headaches and hassles and termites and toilets and all of that stuff. You get great cash flow without the regular maintenance and concerns and problems that you have with houses. And trust me, I've had a lot of houses, and I know a lot of landlords who hate their lives, because being a landlord is stupid. And I understand the argument for it, but like, I can't say that either. I have met very few landlords that really enjoy owning rental properties. All right, I'll just say it that way. But so that's my opinion. I think owning vacant land and selling it on owner financing is one of the fastest ways to get to regular, consistent, really good monthly cash flow. Okay. Now, what's next? Well, I just want to say, because I got to wrap this up here. If you go to simplelandkit.com, you get to download a lot of the things that was showing you now. Also, after you download that stuff, you're going to get an opportunity and an invitation to watch either a class or a webinar or a challenge or something like that, where I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to dive into a lot more detail about how all this stuff works. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to work with us and become a member of the community, where we can partner with deals. We have a lot of services where we do the marketing for you. We set the stuff up for you. We have the money for you. We have the lists for you. And we've got a great community that is always together partnering and stuff like that on deals. But first, just go check out simplelandkit.com. I appreciate you all. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.